Okay, so 'tis the witchy season, and in this time we generally see a lot more new people coming to the craft, and we have a lot of new people coming to the craft in general just because of the state of our world. So, for anybody that is new or just looking for some different reading material than what you commonly see as recommended, these are my recommended reading. So first of all, we have Original Wisdom by Robert Wolfe. This is an older book. It's somewhat small. It's not very thick. I think everybody should read this. Every single human being should read this book. It has a lot of stories that really help you see the connection between us, between everything around us, the land, nature, cycles, and each other. So, a wonderful aspect of body, soul, together in unity in the knowing and understanding what the knowing is. Great book, highly recommend. So the next 4 books, Fire Magic, Earth Magic, Air Magic, and Water Magic, are from Llewellyn. Each one has a different author. The formatting is pretty much the same. They're a relatively thick book. So these are to help you get started with connecting with the elements. And yeah, there are exercises and stuff in there. But most of the books that I'm going to show you until we get towards the bottom, and I'll tell you about that, they're showing you how other people view these things, how they work with them, what they do. And so lots of inspiration. When it comes to elements, it has all kinds of stories and deities and different aspects of the elements. Really well written. They did a good job with it. But it's about figuring out, because all of these elements are within you already. So it's about figuring out how you connect to that element, how you work with it, where your power is within it. So that's a good starting point. And you're going to be dealing with the elements in all magic, and everything relates to these. They come back to these. So a great series just to help you get started, start connecting, and start moving with the elements your own way. So, Utterly Wicked by Dorothy Morrison. I'm always going to recommend this book. I think everybody needs it, no matter what your practice is, because it's not just baneful magic. Yes, that's the focus, but if you're reading it and looking at it, you can see how you can use all of these aspects of magic in different ways. Not just baneful, but also abundance and enhancing and justice magic, and all kinds of aspects. So, Utterly Wicked, I think, is an excellent book. She writes really, really well. It's extremely funny. This one, I think everybody should have, just to kind of get a look at magic from different perspectives and seeing that. So, Planetary Magic. This is probably the least one that I want to recommend to you. And it's because it's very much Greek, Roman, and perspective, and then very, very ceremonial magic. That's also a good thing, though, because a lot of planetary magic is ceremonial, but not this kind of ceremonial, at least not for me. I use crane magic, crane tradition, which is different than this, but it does give, good aspects of how people viewed those planetary energies, how they worked with them, how they connected, all of that kind of thing. Again, inspirational things to give you ideas, to give you things to start out and try and see what works for you and what doesn't. Okay, here I am plugging my own book in here. Grimoire the Crane. This book has, yes, it has a lot of crane tradition specific aspects to it, like soul runes, and that's a magical system, and things like that. But it goes through astrology from a different perspective. It goes through the times of sun and moon, not just the cycles that we generally, full moon, new moon, quarter moons, all these kinds of things. It takes it through the cycle of, its grander cycles. So the sun has all different types of cycles. It has a year cycle, it has 1,000-year cycle, or 100-year cycle, a 2,500-year cycle, and a 25,000-year cycle. The moon has a 3-year phoenix cycle. That's what I call it. But it also has its monthly cycle, and it also has a yearly. So it goes into those kinds of things. But the big thing about this, for me, is that it goes through perspectives, ideas, and frameworks of building your own practice and craft. That's what a crane practitioner does. We don't follow, rigid, strict rules and things like that. We're building and forging our own paths. And so it gives information on spell casting, how to create spells, how to create rituals, different things to be considering, not instructions of how to create them, but things you need to consider, things that you may want to put in there, spell work and ethics. Talking about the ethics and morality, not from anybody else's morality, but from your own foundations, your own things that you have set for yourself, your own boundaries and rules. So yeah, I'm going to plug that in there because I think it's a really good book for foundational beginnings and deeper practice in craft. Next, the Book of Candle Magic by Pamita. I'm never going to get that. Anyway, this is a really great book for those that want to do candle magic. Candle magic is probably the easiest and simplest to get into and get started with. It's easy to acquire the materials and stuff. Most of it you can find around your house already, and, candle's candle, birthday candle or a big candle, doesn't really matter. So yeah, this is a really good book. It's fairly decent size, covers a lot of topics, and a good place to just get started in experimenting with some magic. Okay, so the next two are dealing more spirit and unseen. So Book of Seances, again, a fairly decent sized book. Really a lot of history, a lot of little stories, different ways people have done spirit type of work. Really good book just to get ideas from, and from a historical perspective. It does have exercises and things that you can do though. Seder, The Gate is Open by Katie Gerard. Again, we're talking spirit unseen. That is a lot and core aspect, in my opinion, of Seder practice. This book is really great. It's not very big, but it's really packed full of really good information. And it was one of those that really helped me in developing my own practice as a death worker. And a lot of the things that I teach, a lot of the exercises and stuff, were born from my work in this book and in my own practice beyond this book. But a great starting point. Really, really highly recommended, especially if you want to do spirit work, working with land spirits, unseen spirits, dead spirits. I'd really recommend that. Last one is Ozark Folk Magic by Brandon Weston. This one is very specific to like Ozark folk magic, and you will see a lot of similarities between Ozark and Appalachia. But this is a really good book for just kind of explaining folk magic, how people saw it. And there's a lot of stories in there, and a lot of, make do with what you got. You work with what you have on hand or what you can get readily. That's one of the beauties about mountain magic. So this one is really great if you just want to kind of get a feel for folk magic, what that might have looked like, how they used it and all that. Okay, so yeah, these are my recommendations. This is what I'd send you. Have a good one.